All right, welcome to Stock Analysis Friday on this May 31st, 2024. Hope everybody's doing well out there. All right, so markets have been coming down a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what we find this week for any stock opportunities. Now, don't forget, you don't have to just go long. You can also go short. So if we have any short candidates that you think may be good, feel free to type those in. Now, how we work this basically is it's your show for the most part. What I'm going to do is look at the comments area, and if you type in for example, an ETF or a stock, that's what we're going to be looking at today, either one of those, I'll be glad to look those up and give you my analysis based on the software in which we use here at traderscoach.com. So feel free to type in, maybe your broker called you and said, hey, I got a great stock, and you want me to check that out to see if it passes the muster on technical analysis. Again, type it in. All right. That's why we're here. All right. And then just type in 3 at a time, I guess. That way we can keep the flow going. All right. All right. So let me go through a few administrational items that I want to cover this morning before we get dumping into actual stocks. All right. So the first thing, of course, are the risks involved in trading. Like I always say, without that risk, there is no opportunity. So you really have to manage that risk. That's really what's important in trading the financial markets. A lot of people go into the markets, they don't understand the risk implications, and that's usually where they get themselves in trouble. It's a business where you have to, it's 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, 1 step back. So while you're getting it all honed out, you still have to use risk control all the time. So it's really super important. All right, now the next thing is any of my suggestions here or opinions are based on my analysis. So please realize that we can't guarantee anything because, you know, when we deal in the markets, it's all about probabilities, not guarantees. So run anything by that I may like or suggest here today that we find, run that by your financial advisor or money manager, basically to make sure it's suitable for you. We don't know your personal situation. They certainly should and can give you the final okay on it. So definitely check with them on that. Let's see, what else can we talk about risk control? How about making sure whatever money you apply for trading, make sure that it's risk capital. You know, there's some great prop firms out there. So if you don't have any money, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple slides, their prop firms provide capital to you with basically no risk. And so you may want to check that out too, if you're a beginning trader. It's a great way to get started. Very strict risk control is necessary. And then they have, of course, some additional things you have to abide by. But it's a great way to get started in the markets in about as safe as an atmosphere as you can get. All right, so anyway, keep all that in mind. I think it's super important with the risk control aspects. If you need help in that, I've got a couple of great books dedicated just to money management. And then I have my other books as well. I will say my book on the far right, The Art of Trading, now second edition. My first edition came out in 2008. So my second edition now is coming out this year. And I think it's going to be one of the best books I've ever written. It's called The Art of Trading, second edition, being published by my publisher, Wiley. And that is going to be probably about 450 to 500 pages. Big book. You can order it now. I'll put some links up in the recording area, or you can just go to our website. I think go under education and books, and it's in there. Also, too, if you're into the Elliott wave, which is a form of technical analysis, forecasting, so to speak, I published a book there. My publisher on that one was McGraw-Hill. And so that one has been that's been out for a couple years, really popular, super popular book. And that can help you understand the Elliott wave. All right, but anyway, I'll put a link up to our books and you can check that out. I'll also put a link up to our software that we're going to use today. This is all proprietary software that I created. I use this software to trade stocks, futures, day trade. In fact, we'll probably do a little day trading at the end here real quick. But again, we use this software for all markets and all time frames. I'll put a link up there for you to learn more about it. It is available for purchase as well. All right, and then finally, hey, listen, I wanted to go just a little bit over the Apex Trader Funding, which I think is probably, from what I can see now, is the best prop funding firm out there. And they're having a special. I'm going to put a link up there with a coupon, so make sure you can see that. Here, I'll put that up here, there. Okay, there you go. So there's the link with our coupon code, okay? Let me just... So you put that link in there. It says use coupon code. Make sure you use that one. But that will give you basically 90% off on the evals and then a 1 day to pass option. It's good for about another 3 days, I think, and then they're going to stop it. So definitely check that out. Again, prop trading firms, you can Google it and learn more about it. But if you want to get the large percentage off, that's the way you do it, through our link. Okay. All right, then we'll get going here, Jim, with yours here in just a second. Okay, so let's jump in. Before, Jim, I get to that stock picks, let me just go through what people are looking at and give this a full screen here. All right, so quick rundown on what you're looking at in case you're new here. So I've got 3 charts up here on the Ninja Trader charting platform. We love Ninja. We use it for our Apex day trading as well. But in any case, what you're looking at here is a 60-minute chart. Okay, this gives you the short-term look at whatever I'm looking at. The daily chart, which is the intermediate. And then over here on the far right, we got the weekly chart, which is kind of a long-term look. So it's all charts are of the same symbol. And the idea is what this helps us do is apply our software on all 3 time frames. And you can see my software loaded here. And notice here we've got these triangles here, which indicate movements up and down in the markets, possible trade entries. Then we have our OWL, which is the optimum wave locator, highlighting momentum. We got the PTF for scalp trading down here. And then also, too, we have the trend line master here, automatically drawing trend lines. and telling us what the trend is. And then also too, we have the ERI, which is measuring fear and greed in the market. So you won't see any of these indicators on charting platforms unless you buy them from us. Okay. And then what we do is load them all on the 3 charts, and it gives us a great insight into what's going on. Now on the top of the screen here, this multicolored thing up here kind of looks like a Christmas tree. That is our scanners. So we also have scanners available too. The risk control software, I'm not going to load right now simply because you're going to give me stocks, and we're going to just see how they're looking for longs, shorts, and exits. But when we do actual active trading, we use our risk to reward calculator, which is a piece of software that gives us trade size and risk to reward on each and every trade. I can't emphasize enough how risk control is a vital really a vital part to this whole trading business. All right, quick synopsis on Bitcoin here. We're seeing a little selling this morning on Bitcoin. If we go to the 60-minute chart here, you can see it drafting down. But notice we have a green PTF solid here, green here, green here, green here, green here. So I don't anticipate, based on using multiple time frame analysis, which means all 3 charts at the same time, I don't anticipate this movement down to be any significance in terms of a longer aspect on Bitcoin. I do anticipate this reaching eventually into a high, probably later this summer, between 87,000 and 106, and we're at 67.3. So I guess you would say I'm bullish, right? But short term, I think we're moving down a little bit. I don't think we're going to go below the low that occurred back here, all right, in May, earlier this month. But we may, all right, we'll see. We'll see. But again, if you're in Bitcoin, my suggestion is hold it, all right, and that the long-term charts are still very bullish, and we should get up into that target zone. I would anticipate seeing a reversal in Bitcoin at some point, maybe today, later on, or in Monday's time period. All right, let's see what's cooking out there. So SOXS from Jim. How are you doing, Jim? All right. So you're obviously, Jim, I think, looking for a bottom here and thinking about going long. And guys, when you type in your symbols, if you could tell me what you're doing with them. In other words, are you thinking of a long position? Are you thinking of a short position? Are you already long? Are you already short? Let me know, because that helps me kind of tailor the analysis to what you're doing. And I think that would be good. All right, so this is looking like we may see some bullishness coming in. All right, so we've got a bullish short-term chart over here. We've got a green pyramid. All right, we've got green and green. So on this time frame, not so bad. All right, here we don't really have any movement out yet. We still have a red owl, and we still have a red owl here. So from a long-term perspective, this chart is either at a bottom or close to it. It's a little too early to tell if it is bottomed yet. However, okay, if you look at the actual 60-minute chart, there is a trade here you could take for a short-term trade, and that would be very simply drawing in some fib retracements. And it really doesn't matter if the bottom's in or not, because whatever should happen, we should retrace at least up to this area, and then we'll have to wait and see if the longer-term charts turn over. So if you wanted to go for a long, that would be your target, 30.75 to 34.77. It would be a trade you're probably going to be in for no longer than a week, I would anticipate. Pretty quick trade, I would think, because that's a 60-minute chart, meaning every price bar represents an hour. So you're going to have, what, 6 price bars in a trading day. So probably we'll get up to that target zone pretty quickly. All right. I'm not suggesting that for everybody, because you have to watch the markets very closely for that. Let's put stocks on a watch list for all the other normal traders. I would say I want to see a little bit more follow through before we see an entry. I'd also like to see a pyramid on the daily chart. All right, let's take a look at your next one, SH here. Okay, so SH, same type of thing, pulling off the bottom. Jim, I love the fact that you're looking for markets that are about to change or have changed trend. I think that's a great strategy. Of course, you know me because we've known each other a long time. You're in my day trading room, so you kind of know what I look for. But I like to see that when students do that, because I think the idea is you want to get into trends early, not late, right? All right, so let's see here. All right, let me see. Long on the 60. All right, so we've had a nice move up. Ooh, this is pretty good. So what I love to see is your first move up. We really don't have the definition of an uptrend in place, do we? You had maybe a little bit of one down here, but you still had an active pyramid here, and you still have an active pyramid, I believe, here. So I like the pullback. Now we need to see a surge forward again. So again, great timing on this to put this on a watch list. But at this particular point, I don't think I would trade it unless you're just going to trade it short term. So if you're going to make your trades off, again, the 60-minute chart, this is something you really need to pay attention to a lot closer if you're looking for a longer term position trade. So at this particular point, I'm not going to recommend this one, but I would put this on the watch list as well. All right, PSQ. So Jim, please come back next week as well and bring these to us, and let's take a look at them then as well to see if they have yet triggered a position trade on those. All right, same thing with this. I think you're looking for a bottom here. Not quite there. We still have active pyramids on the daily. We've had a gap up, it looks like, if that's correct, in the 60-minute. But even if, you know, at this particular point, the daily chart and the weekly chart have not rolled over enough for a entry. But again, all three of these stocks, excellent for a watch list. Okay, excellent for that. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, all right. So Jim, I'll work with you to get that connection connected on your Tradeovate. All right, let's see what we got here. All right. So Mark, how are you? A little Starbucks this morning. I've had mine. Hopefully you guys have had yours. Actually, I don't have Starbucks. I make it my own at home, but you know what I'm saying. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right. So again, I don't know if you're going long or short. I don't think I would go short here yet. You may get a better short position a little higher from here, but I don't think I would go long either. And one of the quick analysis I do on this is we still have an active pyramid here. We got one small MP, but at this particular point here, we got a red PTF. So that's going to keep me out of a long position. Looks like we may fill that gap that occurred here on the short-term chart. We're just going up a little bit, but not high enough for a trade. So let's take a look at this next week. Maybe we'll get a bottom on this at some point. You could get a little bit more of a retracement up to around 85 or something at the most, but it could only be 82 too. So a little bit of Russian roulette to know where that thing's going to stop within the gap area. So keep an eye on it, but I would say no go for right now. Let's take a look at Tesla. All right, Tesla. You know, Tesla's been interesting. You know, it went way up, of course. All right. And the long-term chart on the far right is what I'm looking at here. So this is a weekly chart. And notice that, you know, you can go back to 2020, which is a good 4 years. And there is a nice clear pattern there, right? So we had a big move up, all right, a nice correction down. And so I'm thinking we'll probably eventually head on back up with Tesla at some point. We certainly have retraced enough, more than enough. All right, we had a nice move off that bottom, and now we kind of went down to test it. And so we kind of want to make sure this little area here, now we're going to see some follow through. We may be seeing it. Now I'm looking at the shorter term charts now. I'll start with this one in the middle. All right, we've got a pyramid forming here. Let me just erase this and let's enlarge that. All right, so if you look at that pyramid here, it's in blue. So it hasn't yet been confirmed. So it's waiting for higher highs to get above here. What we don't like to do in stocks, and you know, we've all done it, okay, is you get in and the dang thing goes sideways. And it goes sideways for days, then weeks. All of a sudden you're in it for a month or two. and you really haven't made any money. You really haven't lost any money, but it just kind of goes, it drifts. And the problem with that is you got your money tied up, okay, where you could be putting it to work in something with better momentum going in the direction of a good trade. So you don't want to get stuck in these channels. So my situation here is that I would wait for a breakout. Now, if this continues down, this pyramid will disappear if it goes below the flat part because it's not confirmed yet. So then you're just going to have to wait for it to turn around for another opportunity. So at this time, I don't think I would do anything with this simply because it's kind of flat line. You can really see the flat line on the 60-minute chart. But notice we have a green PTF here. So maybe we will get a breakout, all right, at some point, and then it could be a good long trade, right? So let's put this on a watch list for a long-term trade because I think basically this could set itself up real good for one. If you're in it now and you don't know what to do, I don't think I would dump it. You've got a green PTF on the weekly chart on the far right. You probably will eventually come out of this channel. Yes, you may have to hold it, but it may be more of a long-term investment. You don't care, okay? So keep that in mind. So that's kind of where I'm thinking on that. All right, San Diego Stu, how are you? PFE. Let's see what we got here on old Pfizer. We looked at this, I think, last week. We were kind of waiting for a rebound, and we're getting a little more follow-through. Ooh, I like that. All right, so last week we looked at it. You can see where I drew the fibs. It came down here, stopped, and now it's rotating to the upside. We got a green PTF here. All right, now, according to the weekly chart, it's still too early to go long in a major way. If you were trading the short-term chart, A, B, C, I guess you may consider you have a bottom here. The problem with corrections, all right, this is why corrections are so difficult, is because they can turn into complex corrections, which means that you think they're over, but they're not. All right, so this could be an ABC, but it missed the high probability target zone, but it was close enough that if you were trading this time frame for a wave 5 up here, you wouldn't want to miss it. So you go in, and because it didn't hit the high probability target zone between these two blue lines, it only went between the red one and the blue, and that happens 15% of the time. I'd go in with half a position because what could happen is this could be an A, this may be the B instead, and then the C. All right, so you got to kind of be ready for that. Try to put your stop as low as you can. Two ways you can put your stop on that, right under here. And if you're just wrong on the wave count, get out. And then once it bottoms again, just get back in. All right, you can do that, or you can go lower trade size and put your stop under there. Depends on what you want to do and how large your trade size wants to be, okay? And I have to redo this so it's a little bit more accurate. But okay, so there it is. Looks like actually maybe it went into its target zone. So this would actually be pretty good. All right, I like that one. So not bad on there. Let's see on there. Let's see where the target could be, 36 to 52 to 43. All right, if you put your stop at the bottom here, I guess we could do this, okay? So PFE, we'll go ahead and make that a buy. All right, a buy in the market here. Now, let's see what the markets, I wonder what the markets are doing right now. They're a little bit up this morning on the Dow, down on the NASDAQ, so they've been kind of wishy-washy. Yesterday, of course, was a big day. I won't go into that, but, you know, so the market I was interested to see how the markets were going to absorb yesterday's information. All right, let's go ahead and go to Nike, okay? NKE. Let's see what's cooking on Nike. All right, so Nike. All right, I don't know if you're long already, Stuart, or you're considering these. Red PTF on the 60, green there, so you got to keep waiting, okay? Bring it back next week. Bring it back next week for a possible entry. Not even sure you'll get it next week, but we'll bring it back anyway, okay? Ring, RNG. Okay, so this one's kind of interesting. Let me just zoom in here. All right, so we kind of micro analyze this. Let me just show you what I'm looking at here. So notice how you had this bad boy way up around, what, 460? All right, back in, you know, just 3 years ago. All right, and now it's, you know, falling out of bed. And look at this channel. This is what I'm talking about. You know, do you want to get caught in that mess where it's going nowhere? No, right? So let's, what we did last week is let's try to open this up. There we go. All right, so I went inside that little area where it was bouncing around, and we had a kind of a nice breakout here, and then we expected a pullback in here, and we got it. So now I would expect to see hopefully some type of turnaround. Now, short term, we've got the green PTF, so we should get a move eventually to the upside. We've got a 3 here, a 4 here, so we're probably close to being ready to move to the upside. So let's just draw in those fibs, retracements. Let me see where I want to put that bad boy right there. So we're kind of in the target zone. I'm not sure we want to enter yet, okay, because it's still maybe in that process of correcting. Long term, we got to get this thing out of this channel. So let me just pop this a little bit so you can see that channel better. So I'd like it to get above that price bar before considering a longer, a more committed position. How about I say it that way? And that's $43.29. So $43.29. And then I would consider that a breakout on the weekly chart. If you wanted to trade the next quick swing, then what you would do is probably use the 60-minute chart, wait for this to bottom, let's see some bullishness, and then go there, but you don't have it yet. So I'm not going to recommend that one yet. All right, so just hang tight with that. All right, let's keep going. Bradley, how are you? Bradley, those prop accounts may be good for you, okay? For somebody, I think you trade fairly active, but you have to be a day trader. I don't know if you day trade, but they may be pretty good for you. All right, it's a nice way to get started. All right, so let's see about CVNA. CVNA. Let's see what we got cooking down here. All right, so we've gotten the breakout on the weekly charts. Looking good. Green owl, which showing, that's the histogram over here, showing momentum. We had a pyramid, one pyramid. You want to trail that stop up here so that you already had the big breakout, the big down. So yeah, this is starting to move down, but look at this little area here. All right. Don't forget weekly chart. So what are these? This is 4 price bars, right? On that. So look here, you've got this situation here now amplified there. So you still got a little bit of a draft down. You had a red PTF here that's just turned yellow, but you haven't turned around yet. All right. So wait until we get some bullishness to the upside, and then look for a pyramid or something of that nature, but it's not quite ready yet. If you're long, and this is long term, put your stop under that pyramid on the weekly chart, okay? That should be enough to survive a normal pullback, and that's 67.60, okay? All right, SMCI, let's take a look at that bad boy. I think we got that. I think we might have recommended that one as well. Let's just see here. So this one was pulling off its possible wave 4 bottom here. Okay, so let's go in here and get a little drawing tool. 3, 4. All right, we had a nice pull down once. We're getting another one, and hopefully that'll hold. Okay, there's times when we basically think a bottom's in, and it's not. All right, and it takes us out. We have to be patient and wait again. So that could happen here, but you need your stop fairly low off this ledge or this ledge. I don't know if I'd use the pyramid right now. All right, I'd put it down at the very bottom. So my only problem for new traders is don't go in it now. All right. So if I had recommended this one before as a long trade off that pyramid, right now I would put this trade on a hold. All right, not recommend it currently for a long because things have changed. Okay, it's moving down yet, and we also have a bearish 60-minute chart with a bearish PTF. So basically, our whole trade is going to hinge on this being a bottom. All right, and if it's not, all right, again, that trade won't work, and then you have to reset and try again. Long term, we're pretty confident that once we gauge this correction correctly, we should have a rebound back to the upside. So a long trade is the way to go on this. timing the bottom is what we're trying to do, okay? And at this time here on Friday, we're still moving down. So no go on that, all right? All right, Dell. Boy, I haven't looked up Dell in quite some time. Let's take a look at this bad boy because it's just been taken off. All right, so Dell had a big gap down. All right, so there we have it. Now, what's interesting here, look at the far right-hand chart. Okay, look at that. And look at how extensive, all right, even though we had a big price bar down, look how extensive this owl is. That's powerful, okay? Of course, after the end of this week, we'll probably see a price bar lower, like around in there. But this is green, and even though we've had a big move down, notice it hasn't moved the PTF on this time frame that much. So long term, this is indicating more highs coming. Short term, we've got a gap in place that's not over. We're not done coming down yet. So whatever event caused this thing to come down, the technicals on the longer term chart have not yet been convinced that this is going to affect the long-term trend. That's basically what that is saying. Would I go into this now? No. Even if we didn't get this gap down, I wouldn't go into it because this thing is already extended, all right, a lot. Now, this is not a major wave 4 in Dell until this owl goes red. So this is so far just still inside wave 3. If you draw the trend line, it would be something like that. So basically, we got maybe a little manic over here, pulled back. Now, interesting thing on gaps, all right? Gaps occur either at the beginning, middle, and end of a trend. Okay. The owls are still pretty strong that I don't think this is the end of the trend. So this may be indication of the middle, all right? I wouldn't go into it because we're not done with the pull down. But once the pull down's over, you may get an opportunity to go in. So let's put this on the watch list and keep an eye and see what happens after we reach a bottom here, because you may be able to get a good entry, okay, for the next leg up. All right, so that's kind of where I'm at on that. All right. Yeah, happy Friday to everybody. Yes. Okay. Al, how are you? WDC long. Okay. Thinking of a long. Good to know. All right, so Al, when I load WDC, I get it. I get the long idea. Problem is you're too late, okay? The trend is already taken off. We got bearish divergence building in the owl here. Long term, yeah, you're going to get more highs, but you know the problem is you're susceptible to a wave 4. Susceptible, not that's acceptable. All right, you got a wave 4 that's looming here on the daily chart, and that'll stop you out. So I would pass on this. You could put this on a watch list, wait a couple months, maybe like 3 or something, maybe 4, and it may have pulled back by then significantly, and you can get in at a much, much better price, okay? So don't do it now. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, Frank Turpin, how are you, Frank? Okay, HSY. Let's take a look at that bad boy. All right, long with a small profit. All right, so the fact that you're made a small profit, this thing has come down quite a bit over the last, couple days, 3 days or something, maybe 5, 6 is good. All right, so you must have gotten in early. All right, so this is a tricky one, Frank. All right, and the problem is eventually, I think it's going to go higher. Okay, I think that's the bottom line. The long-term chart, all right, now has a green owl. We did hit the target, okay, but we still have a green PTF here, all right? If this goes red, that's bad, all right? So keep an eye on it. This is red, so we may go up to 202 and then come back down. If we get up to, the reason why I say, well, how do you know 202? Because basically, in my mind, I'm drawing the fibs in and looking. So something like around there, okay? So 201, okay? Anywhere from 2 to 203. So I think a rebound here and then another low. Now, if we get up here, if we start to get up into here and this thing turns green, all right, that's great. But as long as this thing stays red, we're dropping below its low. So I don't think the bottom's in on it, all right? And I think probably I'm going to draw on the middle chart what I think, based on this analysis, I think what's going to happen. All right, I think maybe we go up a little bit from here, drop back down, and then go back up. What we're not certain of here until we get the retracement is where the drop down is going to be. But let's just draw in a basic assumption that we will retrace up to the 50% mark. And so you're looking at a low of 190 to 183. So, and then after that, it should go higher again. But if this is a short-term trade for you and you want to lock in some profit, then when it gets to the 200 mark, you may want to trail your stops, get out, wait for it to come back down and get back in. Okay. I'm not going to recommend this one, but that's what I would do if I was in your shoes. Okay, let's see. Let's keep going here. GDRX. Okay, so you want to go long here. Okay, not long yet, but you want to. All right, so let's see. Okay, all right. So basically, we're going to look at the long-term chart. So basically, we've looked at this before. Okay, so it's come down, and we're kind of looking to go to the upside. All the 60-minute chart is bullish. The 1-minute chart is bullish, and the trend has not gotten away from us yet. Now, in order for this trade to be successful, all right, we have to break out of here, okay? Otherwise, if you go in now, you may get stuck in this channel. And if you look at the weekly chart, the channel has been in place since 2022, okay? Yes, it's breaking out. But this little bar here that I've indicated here is this, I think probably it's one in October. So it's just this one right here, okay? And then you still have this one. But if you want an early entry in, you have to get in there. So do you want to get stuck in this channel on the daily chart? If not, then wait for the breakout here, which is, I'll give you the price in that in a minute. However, okay, you do have bullishness here. So, you know, if I was going to take an early entry, as long as my 60-minute chart and daily chart are good, it may be time to get in. And so you could go in now. But if you wanted to be more conservative, then that high of 9.37 has to be broken. But you know what? Let's put this on a buy. I don't think you're going to get hurt going in here. I do think you have to be careful where you put your stop. All right, I'd like to have your stop below this area here, which is 5.92, okay? Just to make sure you don't get stopped out on volatility. So that's kind of where I'm thinking. So I'll put GDRX as a buy for an early entry. Might not be for everybody, but certainly if you're feeling a little chancy, that might not be a bad one simply because it has channeled for quite some time. All right, let's keep going. Eleanor, how are you? All right, looking at, okay, good. All right, VIK, let's say VIK. It's amazing with the sell-off in the market that we've been able to find two longs, okay? All right, is this correct, VIK? Is this, let's see, is this brand new? All right, or do I have bad data? Can't tell here. I only got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 price bars. I can't even make an assumption on that, okay, right now. So if my data or the symbol's not correct, let me know. But I'm going to pass on that one for any analysis. I just need a few more price bars. Let's see about CROX. Okay, that's better. All right, CROX. Let's see what's cooking on that. All right, so nice. So we got above here. My only problem with this bad boy is, for the life of me, look at this. Hard to see any ABC. No, normally we see an ABC correction, right? There's no ABC. Let's see if we can see it on the lower time frame. Okay, a little better there. Okay, that's better. All right, so when I say it's better, you're probably going, what are you looking at? It's kind of looking like, it's like when you go to the doctor and they look at the x-ray and they're telling you this and you're telling you that, and you got to, you know, this and that is gray, and you're looking at that and say, it looks like the same to me. It's kind of what looking at the Elliott wave can be like sometime. If you're not been doing it a long time. It's kind of interesting. All right, couple things. A, B, C, that's possible there. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that could be an ABC. All right. The other thing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The other thing is it could be an A too. That's the alternate wave count. All right. So it's either wave 4's in, or this is an A, B, and we're in a complex correction. I think that's a bottom. Okay. So I think we're okay, simply because we've had such a strong movement. And what I like about it is that we got above this high here. So I think we're off to the races on this. All right, now let's see what we can do in terms of a target. I think for the target on this, do we have any green PTFs? The answer is no, they're all yellow. And let me just make sure. Yeah, they're all yellow. So the PTFs aren't giving us any help here. That was a pretty deep retracement here. I don't know. Yeah, you're almost right at the target range. I think probably, we'll break this high here. So I think you're probably good for above 183, and we're at 153. I'm not going to recommend this one simply because it's not as clear as I'd like it to be. And we're kind of like, getting into that target zone already. So I think I would pass. I think you can find something better. Okay. All right, Lowell, KR, long. Give that a second to load. All right, so we looked at this. All right, and it looks like it's coming off its bottom, and now we're retracing, right? So the long-term charts are saying more highs. The chart in the middle say the correction's not over. And obviously we got bearish pyramids here, but after the correction's over, we should see some more bullishness because you have a green PTF still on the 60-minute. I wouldn't go long. If you're long now, all right, hopefully you have your stop here, okay, right now. And I think that should survive unless this turns into something of a more serious correction, okay? So I would just basically stay long. I would not go into this now if you're not already in it. Wait for this to turn around. So stop low, and your target still stands up in that area there. Okay, not my favorite at this time, but it should rebound after this correction. All right, INO. All right, let's take a look at this one. Okay, so INO looked like it's breaking off the bottom, and we've had a little bit of a pullback, but it's not in any terms threatening in terms of a long trade to the upside, because your target here is 90.73, okay, to 144. So you've got a huge target potential, right? Like 900%. All right. So the key is that with these, when you get in early like this, you just don't want to have your stops so close. All right. So put your stops at major support levels in the beginning of a big move, and that should be right here. Okay. Actually, this one probably, let's see. Yeah, this one, you can't move it here until you get above here. Okay. So keep your stop right down here. And in terms of recommending it, probably let's put this on a watch list for a new recommendation maybe next week. If you're in it already from an earlier recommendation that was made on this leg up, just stay with it. If we're going into it for the first time, wait until this downdraft ends and then get in when you can. So let's make sure this thing ends and you get the best possible price you can. Could you go in? Yeah, sure. You can go in right now. All right, if you wanted to. Put your stop here, but you may have to suffer a little more movement down before it turns around. So why not wait for the turnaround? That's kind of where I'm coming on that. All right, Lowell, thank you. Eleanor, back. All right, okay, so you're in long on these. Okay, DE. The market's selling off so much last week, it makes you cause a little jitteriness, right? Because things have changed from a couple weeks ago. So here we are here, all right? So this one here blew right by, it made another high. So it did what it was supposed to do. and then it sold off abruptly. So, okay. Now, usually when you get a correction in here, you get another high up and you break the high and it goes to the fib extension. So in this little situation here, your fib extension probably was going to be in here. It kind of just missed it, right? That kind of stinks when that happens. That's why the market, though, does not always equal 2 + 2 does not always equal the 4 in the markets. Everything is probabilities. So it missed it. And 15% of the time, it is shallow. 15% of the time, it clears the top here, but fails to meet the anticipated fib extension. 70% of the time, it does. So unfortunately, this was one of the 15% times. Now, I'm not liking this now at all, okay? Simply because you look how long it's been bouncing around and you've got red PTF. So this is not over yet. Now, there is a possibility short term over the next few days that this thing comes up a little bit into this fib area. So maybe you'll have some shorts covering and you can get out at around 379 to 385. That's possible. But with 2 red PTFs, I probably would get the heck out. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at AVAV. And the long-term chart doesn't look that great either. All right. So AVAV. All right. If you're in long here, no reason not to be long. Okay. That's good. In fact, it made a new high and then it came down. Now, a couple things here. This pyramid trading point is excellent here for your stop. You have bearish divergence. I anticipate if this goes into a wave 4 soon, that it does not make another high. Your target, your correction is going to be down to 182 to 167. So that's pretty significant, right? So if you're, and this stop is at 140 because it's allowing you enough volatility for it to do what it needs to do before it moves higher. So now you got to decide, all right, do I want to stay in during the next pullback or do I want to exit? This is indicating more high. So no matter what happens in terms of a pullback, according to the long-term charts, the high is not in yet. And when I see this on so many stocks, and I'm seeing it on a lot, even though we're having a little bit of a sell-off in the markets over the last week or so, I don't think that is the big one yet. Okay, I think this is probably one last gasp to the downside before it makes another all-time high in the markets. And then at that time, we have to be careful. So I think what we're witnessing now is probably pullbacks. And if you're a position trader, this can give you opportunities to get in for another swing up later this summer. And I know I'm going against conventional wisdom out there from all the power brokers, like from, what was it? Citibank stated that, trouble ahead. And I don't doubt there's trouble ahead, but I don't think it's happening necessarily this summer. I think maybe after the election, it could be. I could be wrong, but we'll watch the technicals. So far, the technicals haven't turned over enough to say it has. All right, so back to this stock. Sorry to diverge a little bit there, but back to this stock, I think you got to make a decision. If you don't want to suffer, then use this pyramid here on this chart here, and that would put you at a low of 195.66. If you've been in this one, and this is more of a long-term holding, and you don't mind holding it, you don't mind it pulling back, then just hold it and keep your stop here, and that certainly should hold. And if it doesn't, then you do want to get out because things have dramatically changed. So I think that stop on the daily chart would be the best one to use at 143.41. And that's a pyramid stop, okay? All right, let's continue here. Applied Materials. Looked at that one last week. Applied Materials is kind of dear to my heart. I used to trade this in the 1990s a lot. One of my favorites. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, so we had a move up. Boy, this is kind of an interesting move here. All right, so let me just see what we got cooking here. All right, let me just make an adjustment to my indicators for a quick momento. This baby over here. Go to the owl. I want to take the extended wave. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, still wave 3. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're in a wave 3, probably inside. This is a major 3 because this is higher than this one here. So at this case, I just want to verify that. So that owl's 45.49, and this high here, yep, it is higher. 43, 45, yep. So this is still in wave 3. It's not a wave 5. That's why it's so powerful. Okay, so if we had bearish divergence between the owl here and here, this would be wave 3, but now this is a wave 3. All right, so that is correct, and that means you can probably hold it for quite some time at this point. And we're starting to see a little bit of a pullback on the 60-minute chart, but you're not really trading that chart. You had one move down here. So again, we have a pyramid stop here. If you want to avoid any pullback again, then your stop should be at 204.70. Okay. If you're staying for the long haul, you probably get some big moves up. My concern is we no longer have a green PTF. So I think maybe wave 3, it's possible wave 3 could be ending on the weekly chart. And if that's the case, that's kind of what this wave 5 is showing us here. All right. So I guess probably I'd have my stop there, owner. Okay. On applied materials for right now. Okay. All right. Let's keep going here. Low. All right. BD R1. We've looked at that bad boy quite a bit. And let's see what we got cooking there. All right, so this one came off a bottom, so we like that, right? And now we're just having a retracement inside there. I don't think this retracement is anything more serious than that. All right, so I think we got a bottom that got put in back here last year. All right, so we've come off that. Let's go ahead and take a look at a fib retracements from here to here. So we're in our target zone. Still got some red on the owl. We still got a bearish pyramid. So I'm thinking watch list, okay, for this. I like it. It's a clean setup. You can see the wave 3 easily on the daily chart. One thing that's great about Elliott wave is it's pretty easy to spot in wave 3. Once you have a wave 3 spotted, then you can kind of put it together, right? And the wave 3, of course, is on the daily time frame. So that's a 3. This is a 4, 5. Then we'll probably, at that particular point, start moving into a new trend. Okay. So let's see how this, plays out here. But I'm thinking that I would wait and let's make sure this downdraft is over. But that could be something good within the next 2 weeks, I think, if this is a bottom forming here. Okay. So watch list for that one. All right. Your next one, SWBI. Now, if you're already long in that one and you're in it for the long term, then you're going to stop. It's going to be on the weekly chart. All right. So SBLK. Let's see what we got for this. All right. I mean, if you're long on this, you can stay long. Problem is that I would have liked you to have gotten in a lot earlier on this one. If you look at the weekly chart, all right, and we draw some fib extensions, then this is looking something like this. So you got a lot more room to the upside, 33 to 44. But wouldn't it have been a better trade on the weekly chart way back here? Okay, in earlier. All right, so that's my problem. Is the trend is been going on now, and we're probably due for some profit taking. So it's a little late to get in. Wait for the pullback and then go in. All right. So again, let's put this on a watch list, right? And wait for the pullback. And maybe you can get in around 21, 22. Depends on how much higher it goes. All right. Let's see. CENX. CENX. All right. Same type of thing. It's not a bad long trade. All right. But look at that weekly chart. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. It hasn't really broken out of that weird channel, but you could make money by trading the swings inside the channel because the channel's so big. All right. Now, what's interesting is you may be getting, not really. Okay. I was going to try to draw a pennant in there, but I don't think so. That high is too high for that. All right. So again, it's already extenuated up on this swing. I don't think so. And it's such a interesting bottom. And from a long-term standpoint, you want to be, that's 15 years. All right. So you're forced to trade the swings. All right. And the problem is you're in too late on this swing. Okay. All right. SCCO. Let's take a look at that one. SCCO. All right. Same thing. All right. If you're long, you're in good shape. Stay long. If you're thinking of going long, you're opening yourself up to getting in too late and therefore getting stopped out on any type of wave 4 correction. All right. So no go on both those. All right. Stuart, Amazon, AMZN. All right. So he's already long on this bad boy. All right. Probably part of, well, help if I typed it incorrect, right? Let that one load. All right. So let's see. We obviously looked at this one before. Okay, let's look at it again. All right, so pulling back here. All right, so it did breach its previous high. Let me just open up this weekly chart on old Amazon. I don't know about you, but I pretty much order everything now on Amazon. I mean, unbelievable. They can get it to me sometimes in the same day, right? And why get my car run all over town when I can just get it and have it delivered? Don't have to spend the money on the gas, the whole 9 yards. All right. So we haven't quite reached the target, but we're up there where, again, like that other one we looked at, where 15% of the time it could fail. We are seeing bearish divergence, which is kind of interesting. All right. I would imagine we could get a pullback again, but I'm not, coming back up in here is certainly a possibility unless this turns red. Okay. We don't have any green PTF on that time frame. Let's see. We don't have one on any, but we do have a red one on the short term. So we are cracking down a little bit here. So if this is your long-term holding, basically, did we get close enough to the target on the weekly chart for you to get out? Tough call, right? So I guess at this particular point here, I don't know how long you've been in it. I don't know how long your profit is. I would not increase my position here simply because of the red PTF on the 60-minute time frame. Let's see how much this goes down and wait for a turnaround before it is one you want to add into. So this could be just a minor pullback in an upgoing trend, but let's make sure of that, okay? Simply because we come so close to the target that we want to make sure this isn't a major rollover. Again, I don't think it is. I think it's just a minor pullback. If you think about, the markets in general, they've got some more room, and Amazon's going to certainly lead the way in that, I would think. So I would think probably a pullback, and we'll see how dramatic the pullback is going to be. For example, here you got a situation where you got a bottom here. I'd like to see that hold. All right. So if we get a turnaround, something like that, that's a good sign. If this gets broken, that's a bad sign. All right, so let's just see how much further down this is going to go before you add to your position. I wouldn't do it now. Okay. All right, URA. Well, you guys are good today, man. We're looking at a lot of stuff. All right. Okay, this is one of these markets here that you got to be look at the volatility, even on the uptrend. All right, when you see large swings, you definitely have an uptrend. I mean, you draw a trend line. Look, draw a trend line here. You've definitely got an uptrend. Okay. So that's not the question. The question is, you got to make sure your stop is set so you don't get taken out of the volatility, even in that uptrend. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. We got bearish divergence building here. All right. So you got here and here is bearish divergence. You got higher highs. All right. If this is the correct stock, Lowell, I don't see a wave 4 yet at all. So I don't know. There's no pullback yet, except on the 60-minute chart. But it's, that's not. I'm not sure exactly where you're looking for a wave 4. Is this a trade for a few days or more of a position trade? Because you're getting in late on the trend, so you got to be careful. So I don't really see the wave 4 yet. The wave 4 in the weekly was way back here in early 2023. So I'm not seeing it. Okay. So I think I pass on it. Okay. All right, Mark, let's see what you got. SWBI. SWBI for long. Okay, so, all right, if you're long on this, I think you can hold it at this particular point. You should have more highs. You got 2 green PTFs. Actually, you got 3 now on all time frames. So this pullback may be over. All right, may go down one more time, but may not. All right, so at this particular point here, we can get rid of this because that was the entry down here, right? All right, so let's remove that. And we've got a fairly good long-term in place. No reason to get out, okay? If you're in this for a larger move, use the stop, the pyramid here, okay? And you can do that because you have a higher high. So that stop there is $12.47, okay? And if you're in it short term, let me just remove this. You're in it short term, you can put your stop at the bottom. So then on the next leg up, short term, you probably should get up. I'm thinking, let me just make sure I draw this in correctly. So we got 1. Okay. So I am thinking somewhere along here. So an extension, 1, 2. That's rough. Okay, but you get the idea. So I'm thinking 1962 to 2198. All right, on the next leg up. Short term. Long term, don't worry about that. Okay, you'll go up, you'll pull back, and then go up again. Okay. So that's actually kind of an interesting one here. I'm not going to recommend it for position traders simply because at this time you got to wait for this to turn green. Okay, I just want to make sure this is over. I think it is. As soon as that turns green, that would be a go. Okay. If you're going to use a 60-minute chart, you can watch it intently. Yes. If you are a long-term trader and you wanted to take that, yes. So I'll put SWBI for both a short-term trader and a long-term trader, position trader. Wait a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's keep going here. QQQ. Frank is short on the Qs, but the puts expire next week. All right. So, all right. Again, I don't know exactly where you got in, but I would hold this to the short side. Okay. Hold the put. And I would say when this goes yellow again, okay, start moving your stops close. Keep your stop here at 455. I would use this chart here, the 60-minute chart. And the reason I would do that is because your put expires next week. You might even use a 30-minute chart, okay? Don't use any longer-term charts when your put's about to expire, all right? So this is the 30-minute chart, okay? So I would use either the 30 or the 60 to look to when to cover, okay? And if it was me and it expired next week, yeah, you could roll it over, but you know, you're still, you know, you still haven't quite reached the target. So again, I think we may go up one more time, but again, I think this correction is not over yet. So I think you could make some money still on that. All right. I don't think I'd roll it over though. I think I would use the 60 or 30-minute chart and really hold it as long as you can until a reversal comes. All right. Let's see what we got. ROKU. 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 All right. Let's see what we got here. How you doing, Art? Okay. Long target 87.57. Okay. Let's see what we got. Stop at 56.75. Well, you're out, right? Because we're down at 56.55. So I think your stop is hit. And your stop was probably, maybe, let's see what that is right there. That's 55.01. So yeah, you're out. Okay. This downdraft was a doozy, wasn't it? Okay. Again, I think maybe the possibilities of this returning to the upside are there. Okay. You got a red owl here. You got red here. You got green here. So, you know, you're in this range here for the volatility that you see on a bottom before it springs out. All right. This is why if you're going to be committed to something like this, you got to keep your stop pretty low, and you had it pretty low. All right. So you did everything right here because the stop here was here. You just got stopped out. So I would not go back into this. Okay. But if we see some strong movement up and we start taking out these highs here, then that would warrant a long position, because then I think we'll probably at that point be moving up dramatically from there. Okay. For right now, any entry in here, re-entry in here is going to create a possibility of getting stuck in this range bound market. All right. But you should be out on that. All right. Alexander, DJT. Let's take a look at that one. All right. So again, it's kind of like what happens here is you had a nice move off the bottom, then you had some volatility, okay, and you're already long there, okay. So it's come down, it's corrected here. Again, if you are using, if you're just trading a little swing trade here, you'd be out, okay. But if you're in it for something more significant, all right, you had a move up here, move up here, move up here. Now you've come down here. You want to have that stop as far down, if not at the bottom, as you can. All right. If you moved it here on this high, you'd be out. Okay. So, and I don't think I would re-enter yet until we get a break above this channel here. But since you're already long, I would stay long, but put your stop here. Okay. And that's a far away. All right. And if you can't afford that, then put your stop here. This is not one to enter right now on. Okay. Because this could kind of drift for a while. So I kind of would leave it at that. So I think probably for you, what I would do here is put your stop below this 1B reversal at 42.03. One tick under. Let me just make sure I get the right price bar. 42.02. So put it at 42.02. All right. Oh, we'd love to hear that. Thank you, Art. And I agree with Gene. Great to have you here. Great to have everybody here. Okay. Really great turnout. All right. So Bradley, hey Bradley, how are you? All right, TT. Let's get in here and take a look at TT. All right. So you're watching these again. Hey, great if you got in early, down here in July of 2023. But too late now. It's you're too susceptible to a profit-taking correction, which would stop you out. Okay, so wait for it. Okay, wait for the correction. As we can't say definitively if we're entering it yet. We did take out the long-term pyramid here again, so we need to go below here. So maybe something like that, and then get in there. Now, could it go back up? It could, but it's Russian roulette here. Eventually, it's going to head on back down. So I think you'd be better off waiting on that one. All right, let's take a look at Apple, AAPL. AAPL and Apple kind of plodding along here. All right, so again, I don't think I would go long in this with the red PTF on the 60-minute. Okay, now could have gone long back here. If that's the case, your stop would be here. All right, you'd be in profit territory, but at this particular point, here's your target. Okay, so you had a better risk to reward here. You don't have a good one here, really. So I'd wait for the pullback, and then let's take a look at it again. Okay, and basically what we're trying to do is get one more leg up. But it's this look at the pyramids on this. Whew, okay, but this is kind of a area here. Look at those pyramids. Holy cow, nice little trade there for a month or so. And then let's see here, actually more than a month. All right, so then it's here. Yeah, it's kind of messy. All right, not loving that right now. All right, so NVIDIA has hit the target. All right, it's not done yet. We have green PTFs on the daily and the 60-minute. The weekly has now turned to a yellow, so we're getting near the top of wave 3. Couple things here. This is clear. All right, bearish divergence, but still a very strong out. Okay, so we may have a little pullback and one more high is possible. All right, I don't think we're necessarily going into the big one yet, and there's no divergence here. So I think we may come back and go back in here. Problem again here is that, are we nearing a top? Yes. Are we at the top? No. But the problem is that we're getting in kind of late. And, are you chasing the markets? Yes, at this point. So you really got to decide here on the lower time frames. And both of these lower time frames are indicating a situation where we're at a short-term top. So I would wait for the pullback, and then let's take a look at it again. NVIDIA is not done going up, okay? But it is susceptible to some profit taking. And again, profit taking for a position trader means you get stopped out, okay? All right, so that's kind of where I'm at that. All right, let's see. On your PTF art, make sure you have it set like mine, which are, I think, at the close. Let me just check that. Depends what time frame you're looking at too, and also assuming enough data and stuff is on the chart. I use 3,000 price bars, so make sure you check that. And it's your PTF, right? So PTF, I have on bar close. So in TradeStation, you can set that to on bar close. That's what I use. The default is not that, so check it and make sure, okay? All right, so let's see what we got. Okay, so yep, okay, so here he is, just got stopped. That was Roku we looked at, so he just got stopped out. All right, all right, did I help you, Art? Did I look at the one you were looking for that? Hopefully I did, right? All right, okay, my pleasure, Lowell. Okay, let's see. Okay, good. All right. Frank, my pleasure. And you have a great weekend too. Art, thank you. Same to you. All right. It's always a learning process. I'm even learning, and I've been doing this a long time. All right, so let's see. My pleasure, Bradley. You know, trading is a never-ending game, okay? It's one we always learn, continue to learn, no matter how long we've been doing it. And it's a constant battle against your emotions. You know, it'd be nice if we could just turn our emotions off, but we just can't. But you can become structured so you don't act on your emotions. And I think that's, you know, what we strive to do in traders is have a good set of rules that override acting out on our emotions, right? But they'll always be there. They're always going to, you know, be pulling you, swaying you, and things of that nature. It's even harder when you day trade. So it, you know, basically know that that's normal, and you're not going to win on every trade. And sometimes you get stopped out by a tick. Sometimes you get you miss an entry by a tick, and those are very frustrating. And again, I missed one the other day on day trading, and you know, I felt frustrated too. So it, you know, you always have these feelings like that. But again, the more seasoned you get, you develop ways in which to handle those so they don't sabotage your trading. I think that that's something that just takes a little time and patience. Okay, and we're all different on how we handle that stuff. So you kind of got to just figure it out what works best. But having a good set of trading rules is a must. Okay. All right. Okay. And Art saying trying to trade stocks at a $50 daily moves is tough as nails. Yep. That's a big move, actually. What he's talking about, though, is stocks that are super expensive, like NVIDIA. You can get a $50 move on a $1,000 stock. That's possible. All right. And you're not going to get a $50 move on a $100 stock, right? But, you know, especially in this market, because it's run up so much that you got to just be careful not to chase the markets, you know? All right. Well, what do you think? I think we got to the end. All right. Great session today. So let me go over, if you don't mind, the winners and the ones. And then what we're going to do is, what I'll do next is I will put up some day trading time frames, and then we'll end the session. Okay. All right. So let's let me go through these. All right. So all right. So on the good trades for today, we found PFE for a buy, GDRX. And SWBI is one of those that's either a super short-term trade based on the 60-minute or a super long-term trade. So that's either one is possible. But there's enough volatility in there that we may make one more high, then it pulls back. But if you're a long-term trader, that pullback should be okay for you. All right, then on the watch list, SOXS, SH. All right, we have PSQ, Tesla, Dell, INO, BDRY, and Starbucks, I think. SB, boy, if I got that right, I think it is. SB, can't even read my own writing sometimes. I think that's Starbucks. All right. If I'm wrong, let me know in here. All right. And give us a thanks for today. All right. We'd appreciate that, or a like, whatever they say. And once again, let me just post up here for those interested in the day trading situation. I just put a link up there with our coupon for you to get the special at the Apex prop funding. Now, prop funding is kind of an interesting situation, concept, and there's a lot to it. You have to be a good trader to make money at it, and you have to follow their rules. But it is an excellent way because in terms of possible loss, you know, you're using, so to speak, not really, but you're kind of using their money. It's actually simulated accounts, but there's people pulling out a lot of money on this. Okay. There's people pulling out 20, 30, 40,000. The best ones are pulling out close to $1 million, if not over $1 million in a 30-day period. So if you hone down your skills, you can actually work on that and make that a possible viable way to fund your trading. Okay. So it's not for everybody. All right, so check it out, see if it's for you. You have to have some of the nice thing is too, is that it's just for futures. It's not stocks. It's not for position trading. It's just day trading. But there is a lot of opportunity if you're interested in that, even if you have a job, because you can get home. The trading day in the Apex prop firm goes to 5 p.m. Eastern time. So you have to be out of your positions by then. But then it resets and starts at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So if you have a job and you get home in the evening and you want to trade some liquid markets in the evening, find those in the futures, and there are some. All right, and you can trade those. Okay, so you might want to give it a shot. And if you wipe out an account, they reset it for you in 30 days, so you can start again. But it's kind of fun because it gives you a chance to do day trading, even if you don't want to put the money on the line. Okay, so think about that. Okay, just think about that. And then again, there's our link and so forth. All right, let me go to full screen again. All right, and let's just put in some day trading markets. I'll put a little music on. All right, and don't forget we have a day trading room. All right, where you can actually, we'll actually trade the Apex account that I have. All right, in the day trading room if you want to learn more about how to do that. So that's a possibility. But there it is. Okay, so everybody have a wonderful weekend. We got the S&P moving down. All right, for sure. Again, too late to go short now. The short trade would have been better earlier. And I'm sure that's affecting pretty much all the markets. Look at the NASDAQ here. So when we look at this here, this is a 1 minute account. This is a 5 minute, not a 1 minute account, 1 minute time frame, 5 minute time frame, and a 15-second time frame on the far left. So these are the time frames we use when we day trade. And you can find these intraday trends. This is a big winner. I mean, look at that. Huge. Okay, but it's too late to get in there now. Okay, but that was a possibility earlier, and so these are the kinds of trends you want to try to find, and you have to be patient. And with your trading rules, that's what you do. Okay, you wait for the right setup and go. All right, so that is it. Thank you as well. I'm going to just leave it here. Let's see how far down this goes. All right, and then I'll leave that there if you're interested in doing that. It's in the chat area, so just click on it. And the coupon is there as well. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Great picks for today. And we'll see you back next week.